The No Nonsense Roundtable, a weekly radio show and podcast where host Dom Genova interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. And now, here's your host, Dom Genova.
Well, welcome everybody to another edition of your No Nonsense Roundtable, brought to you commercial-free, due in part that our presenting sponsor is the Rochester Red Wings Baseball Club. And I'd like to remind you, too, if you haven't been to a game, we are giving away free tickets if you go to nononsenseroundtable.com and ask for, well, free tickets. And I'm doing that because my family and I had a great time years and years ago going to a game that somebody gave us tickets to. And then we became hooked because it's more than a baseball game. It's a great experience, and you're out there in the summertime, and it's really, really good. So today I have somebody that you really should know. You probably don't know, but he's doing a lot of things for Rochester, for our community. There's some big production coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't even mention what it is, Ed, quite yet. I'm going to let you do that. His name is Ed Schram. Ed worked for Kodak for 42 years, but that's not what he does now. Now, what job did you have at Kodak, and what exactly was your responsibility at Kodak?
Well, in the beginning, I ran the research laboratories in the United States, and then I was their consultant for capital projects for those outside the U.S. on a worldwide basis. And then we caught, if you will, we found a guy stealing some of our intellectual property out of one of our research labs. And it was then that our general counsel at the time asked me to form a larger worldwide security organization. We did. We did executive protection. We did investigations, but we had a big focus on giving all of our sites, manufacturing, research, and retail, the policies and procedures to follow to protect the intellectual property of Eastman Kodak.
That seems like that sounds like the other end of the spectrum from what you're doing now. I mean, because now you're doing productions, and you're doing theatrical things, and this big thing that you have coming up, this auto show thing. Car. Oh my God! I've been in the car business. You know, and I have to apologize to you. I've been in the car business for like 50 years now, and I can't say air show. It comes out car show no matter what. Well, I told you I wasn't a professional, so thank you for forgiving me for that. But. So Ed does so many different things here, and plus this Artist Unlimited thing. But let's talk first of all about your younger life. What did you want to do when you were like 10 years old? And it was none of these things on your mind, I would think, right?
No, when I was 10, I wanted to make sure I was not helping my father anymore in the dry cleaning plant. He owned a dry cleaning store. It was too hot. So I decided, I did enough of that when I was young. But I just got kind of thrown into the air show because a friend of mine needed someone to help him with the logistics. And I seem to have been drawn to that. Now, Kodak was one of the largest sponsors of the Olympics. And of course, if you're doing security for that, there's a lot of logistics involved. So it kind of fell in that. And it takes us about a year and a half to actually produce an air show. You fill out some forms, you send them to the government, and the forms then get reviewed by the Blue Angels and by the Thunderbirds. If they agree that they would like to come to Rochester, it then goes to Air Command. They go through their criteria. If they approve it, it then goes to the Secretary of that specific Secretary of the Marines, Navy Marines, or the Air Force. If they approve it, it ultimately will pass by Congress, and hopefully none of the congressmen want that weekend that you're scheduled for it. And if they don't, then you end up with an air show. It's important to remember that they get over 600 applications from the United States somewhere a year, and they choose about 42 to 45 shows a year. So you can you can tell that it's a very select group that they go to. I mean, there's only a team, and they're always on the weekends for the most
Oh,
part.
yeah. Hmm.
And many of those are military sites that they go to, such as the one in Buffalo that just got canceled. And so we've been fortunate to be able to get them. We score very, very high on the matrix that they use when they leave. We get scored on how well we did with them. Did we have the right equipment? Was everything on time, in order? I mean, it's a long, long list, and we get scored. We've been very fortunate to get scored very, very high. And so we're fortunate to have the Thunderbirds. They do an incredible show. And we just submitted all the paperwork for 2028
Ooh.
because they're always 2 years ahead of time.
Hmm.
We submitted it for the Blue Angels and or the Thunderbirds. Well, we haven't had the Blues here in quite a while, so we submitted that. Once you get that, then you start logistically pulling it together, which also, I mean, you look for sponsors because the air show has gotten very expensive to produce, especially after COVID. Jet fuel
Hmm.
is 3 times what it was. The cost of labor is driving everything else up. So, and we have not raised the price of the air show in the last 4 shows, which would be 8 years. We haven't raised the
Hmm.
price. So we're trying to come up with out of the box thinking to make sure we can cover it, still give families the opportunity to come to the air show. It's a family event. And if you have children 12 years or under, they get to come in free. But we then the next and a major step is to work with all the airlines that are here, the commercial airlines, and deconflict flights because
Hmm.
for the day everybody flies in, which is varies, but the Thunderbirds will be doing their show on Friday as a practice. Then Saturday and Sunday is a show. We literally take over the airspace. Um,
No, go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. Well, when
No,
we
I
take
mean,
over
yeah,
the airspace, yeah.
the cooperation that you need with the county and the city and I mean, it's got to be that's another aspect of this has got to be hard to coordinate.
It is, you know, it is, but everybody is such in favor of what we're doing. They're so
Hmm.
supportive of the air show, the red, white, and blue, if you will, that we get great cooperation, and so without that we couldn't pull it off. But we're very fortunate with that to have a community that admires and respects veterans and the air show.
Mm.
This is probably the largest military attended um, event anywhere around here, clearly in New York, I think. Um, because we have almost 40 military planes coming. We have
Hmm.
over 40 planes coming. We have some civilian ones that we'd hired, but we're getting just a tremendous amount of planes right now. We'll probably end up when all is said and done, because we're waiting on a few to get
Hmm.
orders. We'll probably end up with 45 planes this year
My
at the
God.
air show, which is
Hmm.
will be the largest air show we've ever had here.
Well, I went. I've been going every year, and the coordination that you have is really spectacular. I mean, it's a great family event. There are a lot of other things going on. You have a lot of vendors that are popular, and
Yeah.
uh, I guess that the question is let's go through some of that those attributes that you have that has other things other than the planes. I mean, the food and the
We have, yeah.
yeah.
We have something really special this year, to be honest with you. But we
Mhm.
have all kinds of food on sale. We have merchandise that's specifically geared towards air shows. We have five
Mhm.
locations for the kids, younger kids. We have Adventures in Climbing, which is a
Mm.
company locally that comes in and they put together a great kids area
Mhm.
so that the kids can enjoy it. And then the parents can stand there, watch the kids, and look up in the sky and still see the air show. It's great. It's great. But one thing that we're doing this year,
Mhm.
we're very, very proud of it, is this is the 250th year of America, as you know.
Mhm.
So we are going to do both days. It kicks off at 11 a.m. sharp. we're doing a 250 America Honor Parade. It
Mm.
will be led by the Gates pipe and drum. It then will have our World War II veterans. Then it will have our Korean War veterans.
Hmm.
We have two Rosie the Riveters.
Ah,
I
that's
know.
great. Yeah.
We have Cold War veterans, and we have our Gold Star mothers, and then we have the Vietnam veterans.
Mm.
And this whole purpose of this is to recognize those
Hmm.
who have given a significant portion of their life to give us the country that we have.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
as everybody always says, freedom isn't free, and we're here to recognize that for them. We're actually taking them on the tarmac in front of our air boss, doing a parade. And once we approach our endpoint, we are going to have the Golden Knights
Hmm.
parachute out with a very large American flag, and as they circle and the flag unfolds, it will be caught by the Civil Air Patrol. Teresa Amon, we hired to sing the national anthem. And then the flag will, as I said, be caught by the Civil Air Patrol here, surrounded by Patriot Guard riders who are veterans. And then we have a three-plane flyover. The first plane that flies over will be in the camouflage colors of World War II and
Hmm.
World War II and Korean War. The second plane is black and white, and underneath the wing are the large letters POW MIA in honor of
Mm.
them. The third is going to be in the colors of the American flag.
Hmm.
And once that occurs, we will play the military salute and we'll escort them off the active runways and get them back here. We're fortunate that on Saturday, the Rochester Corvette Club will be helping our mobilely impaired. And then on Sunday, the Classic Car Club will be driving them. And they will then put all their cars on display both days for people to
Hmm.
also look at. It's
Yeah,
going to be great.
it's a fun time. And like I said, it's a family thing. Now it's the 2 days.
Yes.
So let's do a little retail here. How do people buy tickets? And then after this, I want to go into the other things that you do because you do some really great things for the community other than the air show. But do a little retail about the air show. How do you get tickets and days? And I guess the show is pretty much repeated for the 2 days, right? It's the
It's the
same show for
exact
2 days.
show,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So let's go into
given
this.
given weather and clouds
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean
That's
you,
yeah,
you got
yeah,
all the yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's August 8th and August 9th.
Hmm.
And you can get tickets at rockairshow.com. And you will hear us coming in on Monday the 3rd. You will hear the major coming in with Thunderbird 8. He will come
Hmm.
in, fly around a little bit. He's here to do an advance on the air show. Tuesday, all of the rest of them come in. You will hear them. And Wednesday and Thursday are their days off, and they're going
Hmm.
to be doing a number of things. We may be taking them to play golf out to Ontario at the Ontario Country Club and Pub on the
Mm.
Green for lunch. And on Friday night, so Friday then is practice day, and we are going to take a contingent of them to the Band on the Bricks, which is hosted by Rock Lobster.
Hmm.
And they're going to have a buffet dinner. They're going to then do autographs, and then they want to mingle with the crowd. So that makes me a little nervous, but that's okay.
well,
And then
as a
Saturday morning early, we start off.
as a former, yeah, now you were you started something called Artists Unlimited, and the other things too. You are in charge of the Veterans Parade. Let's go to all this this other area of participation that you do for and around Rochester.
Well, after the air show will be the Artists Unlimited show. And this year it's Peter Pan. That started, this is our 25th year to be celebrated. Many, many years ago, my daughter's godmother was Kathy Brown, and she worked at Holy Childhood. And
Mhm.
she approached me and asked, is there any way you could help us get a new gym floor? Because they needed one. So I said, sure, we'll figure this out. So we did a show. and we did a Broadway show, all
Hmm.
with kids from around the community, mostly from the town of Greece. We were able to raise the 25,000 they needed, but more importantly, during the last show, there was a young man there. His name was David Russell, and he was singing and he was dancing in an incredible voice, just an incredible voice. And I went up to his mother. I went up to his mother after the show and said, "Your son has a beautiful voice, and he can dance, and he should be on stage." And she said words then that hit my wife and I very hard. She said, "No one wants my son. No one wants my son," because he was developmentally disabled. And I choke up a little bit because we have four children, and
Hmm.
they were involved in all kinds of things. And I can't imagine
Right.
having a child be turned away like that.
Hmm.
So the quest began, and we wanted to do a show. At the time, my wife and I were managing a small banquet house that had a stage, so we could. That was part of getting our kids through college, and we tried for about a year to pull this together. The biggest barrier was that no one believed that we could do this, and one individual said I would embarrass the clients, meaning the developmentally disabled kids. Well, they didn't recognize the volunteers that we have that do this.
Mm.
And in all honesty, and not to be self-serving, I couldn't get sponsorship. And so when I told my wife I don't think we can do the show, she said, "Well, what would it take?" And I said, "It would take some money, and the only way we could do that was to get um, a mortgage, a home equity loan." And the words out of Debbie's mouth were simple. She said, "What are you waiting for?" That was it.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
So we did. We did our first show, and I think it was professional. Jack Heldupas, who everybody knows, designs our sets.
Mhm.
We have a professional orchestra, professional choreographers, artistic directors, vocal directors, costumers. Pretty much everybody donates their time and their resources for this. And what's amazing is we are now 25 years into this. We've been doing this for 25 years, and our
Oh
cast
my.
of it's anywhere from 70 to 85, and they're all individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities, and they do an incredible job. And I've had so many people say to me, when I get to act one, scene two, I, I forget they have disabilities. Well,
Mm.
you do. And remember, this show costs us somewhere between 130 and 140,000, and a lot of it's material stuff. But for example, the rights to do Peter Pan this year, just the rights,
Hmm.
are 14,800, I think, something like that. Then we
Oh,
have to rent the orchestration, and we have to rent the scripts, and then we have to pay. I mean, it's incredible, but
right.
and we have partnered with the Greece School District for their
Mhm.
Performing Arts Center. They've been very, very good to us. We do have anywhere from three to four, sometimes five mainstream kids in there, and their purpose is that they support us. They help whoever might need help at any second. But they also have
Hmm.
a very, very important role, and that is in the case, the unlikely event of any kind of emergency, we have a very elaborate plan with
Hmm.
which to do what has to be done, whether it's leave or what have you, and they're very, very supportive, and they participate in that because they're already on stage and they can get their groups together, and we can respond. So we're celebrating on September 19th this year. We're going to have a get together at the Rochester Yacht Club to celebrate the fact that it's 25 years strong,
Mm.
which is amazing to me. You
And
know,
when is the next performance?
the next performance will be mid-October. I think it's, I'd have to look it up, but I think it's the 9th or 10th. It opens that weekend. And again, it's Peter Pan. And we have Paul Rubin. Now, nobody really knows who Paul Rubin is,
Hmm.
but he is the individual. His company is called The Fly Guy. He flew Kathy Rigby in the
Okay.
very beginning, and he comes to Rochester to fly our kids,
Hmm.
actors. I should say kids, actors. A great guy. We put him on our board of directors. Just a very generous and a wonderful man, and he flies people for TV and Broadway and stuff. That's what he does for a living.
Now, you're not talking about transporting them from one place to another in his private jet. You're talking about flying on stage, right? I
Yep.
mean, yeah.
Yep. When you see Peter Pan flying over the stage, that's his work.
I
It's
wonder what he
great.
wanted to do when he was 10 years old.
I don't know.
I'd
I
have
don't
to ask
know.
him.
I
So,
don't know.
and where is it being held?
It's going to be at the Greece Performing Arts Center on Long Pond Road.
Okay, wonderful.
That's our
I,
show.
the thing about my listeners is that I love illustrating people you may not have ever heard of, or a lot of people don't know you, and the contribution that you make is really cool. It's like Carla Porta. Carla Porta, years ago, said that we should have a Rochester Music Hall of Fame. And he wrote a letter to the, he's a great musician, piano tuner. He wrote a letter to the Democratic Chronicle. Somebody picked up on it. Now we have a Music Hall of Fame. But
Yeah, we do.
I mean, how many people knew? I mean, Carla Porta. It's not like on the tip of my tongue, like Don Alhart.
Right.
But
Right.
these people are contributing these wonderful things to this wonderful community. And it's like you look at this, the air show, that the Veterans Parade, right?
The Veterans Parade is coming up after that show. Um, and none of this happens without volunteers. I mean, we have an
Right.
incredible group of volunteers that kind of follow us around. So in 2021, Adam Bello came up and asked me if I would do a parade. I had done the Lilac Parade for 35 years. I don't do it now. And I said, well, yeah. I said, I'll think about it, but, I hummed and hawed. And he asked me again, I don't even remember where I saw him.
Mhm.
And he said, well, would you at least come to a meeting? And I said,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
I
the
said,
way it starts. Yes,
yep, yep. The
yeah.
only difference is when Peter Parts wants you to do something, which Peter Parts and myself, we started the great international wine competition, which we raised money for kids less fortunate. We raised over 4 million for them. So, but Peter brings wine and Adam doesn't. But I went to the meeting. And the meeting was really chaired by Nick Stefanovic, which
Oh
I've met.
yes,
He's
yes. I know him
director
real
of
well.
Veteran
Yeah,
Services
yeah.
Agency. He's a great guy. He works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, figuring out what can I do to help veterans. He's a
Veterans. Yeah.
Marine himself. So we had we had this meeting, and one of the first things that came out, he says, "Well, I got a tank." I said, "Okay." I said, well, "You can't bring a tank to this parade. Whoever does it." He said, "Well, why not?" And I said, "Well, you got a low boy, and then you
Yeah.
got a tank on top of it. You're going to have to move every electrical wire in the route."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well. And so then I said, make sure you order porta potties. As
Right.
disgusting as they are, make sure you order them.
Oh yeah.
What do I need them for? Well, I said, um, I'm in my mid 70s, and veterans, a lot of them are
Mhm.
older. And as you get older, you may want to use the restroom a little more often than not.
Every 20
Yeah,
minutes. Are you
yeah.
kidding?
Well, so I said that's because you're young. You didn't think
Yes,
of it.
that's right.
So at the end of this meeting, there were a couple more things like that are humorous today. He said, "Would you do the parade?" I said, "Fine." And it was interesting. One of the most interesting things, and I'll be very honest, one of the best things that I've ever agreed to do. And I'll tell you why, because when I first started, I went and got every organization, and I had said if I can get 50 units
Hmm.
the first year, we'll be doing really well. We had 110. So the very first year, and I'm just an older, portly guy who driving around with a funny hat and a golf cart. But I went up to this one group of people, And there were a couple World War II veterans there. There was some new from the Afghanistan, Iraq War, and so on. There were a bunch there. And they started telling these stories. They were humorous stories about their time and their brotherhood with other veterans and
Mm-hmm.
so on and so forth. And then there was a guy there who fought in Iwo Jima. And he started getting emotional about it. And then the whole group of them, I mean, it was about 8 or 10, they started talking about not the fun times, but the other times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was then and there, I said to myself, as long as Adam and Nick want me, I will do this parade. And so now we're going into our fifth year. And
Mm-hmm.
last year in 2025, I had 133 marching units. And remember,
Wow.
these are only veteran marching
Mm-hmm.
units or organizations such as Sonny Mike
Oh, yeah.
who support veterans.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't all the other things that you would see in a normal parade. These are all veterans. And again, organizations that help veterans. It was huge. It was just a huge parade. But it does your heart good
Mm-hmm.
to see all of these 3,000 veterans, whatever number that is, it's big, having a good time and honored.
Well, we owe them so much. Do you know Casey Bukowski by any chance?
He
Okay.
World War II guy. Just he's going to
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. I
He's going to lead
interviewed
my
him.
parade. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I
going to
interviewed him a
lead.
couple of weeks ago. Now, the guy, and I'll do a little retail for myself. It's on nononsenseroundtable.com. You can hear his interview. But he was a waist gunner. He was
Correct.
yeah, yeah. What was it? A B-17.
He was in a B-17, World
Yeah,
War II, Korean War, and prisoner of war.
yeah, and prisoner of war. And here's a guy, 102 years old, and
Yep.
you know, every veteran needs to be honored. I don't care if you were drafted or how you got there because you
Great.
went and you did your duty, which is
I agree.
which is great. I don't care how you joined the military. Some people join it like Nick because 9/11 happened and he got motivated patriotically, and
Yep.
some people go into the military because it's a great career path for them and they also want to contribute. So either one. But if you look at World War II, that was an existential threat to the world. And,
Yes.
and this
Yeah.
guy, being a waist gunner, flying over Germany, getting shot down, losing an eye, being a POW, and now at 102 years old, he's telling his story
Just turned
and
102.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and happy to tell the story. I mean, God bless this guy.
He will be leading the honor parade for both days here at the air show.
Ah,
I
geez.
I
That's
have
great.
a guy. He's from Bourbon Country.
Uh-huh.
He bought brand new $120,000 Corvette, painted it all white,
Mhm.
and he got permission to have it painted like a Thunderbird jet.
Mhm.
That Corvette will be leading this parade right behind the band with Casey in it. And I'll
Ah,
tell
geez.
you
Yeah.
that Saturday night, my partner Dave Cooper and I we throw a steak dinner for all the volunteers and all the
Uh-huh.
pilots. And Casey will tell his story, but I will tell you something that Casey can outdance anybody I've ever seen in my life. This
Yeah.
man is amazing, amazing individual, just an amazing guy.
Yeah, I'm so proud to have been able to interview him. I haven't met him yet, but I certainly will try to, however I can do that. I would love to meet him someday. But
Well, you
yeah,
come to the air show, I think I can set that up.
oh, yeah, oh, wow, that's great. And as everybody knows, I don't take free tickets. Okay, so I don't take free tickets. I don't charge anybody for endorsement or commercials. But if you would offer to introduce me to Casey Bukowski, I will take that.
Absolutely, I will.
So,
Amazing
so
man.
well, let's talk a little bit more about the air show before we go.
Okay.
We talked about how you get tickets. How many people attend this? This has got to be economically advantageous for Rochester too. A lot of people, I would imagine, a
It,
lot of people drive in. A lot of people take hotel rooms and all this other stuff, right?
yeah, I mean it brings in several millions of dollars for the community.
Hmm.
Um, Our air show is not like the ones that they hold at military installations
Hmm.
because they're free. Ours is not. And again, we've held that price for many years. We expect to have somewhere around 40,000 over 2 days.
Wow.
When you come and you look, it doesn't look like that many per day,
Hmm.
but it's an airport. We got a lot of space.
That's right.
I mean, well, and so we get tremendous support from the community in many ways. And as you know, Sean Fico with AP Property Services is our title sponsor. We also have Quick Fill and the golf club, Ontario Golf Club and Pub on the Green is our presenting sponsors. And then we have many other sponsors that help us and they help contribute. But the bottom line is sponsorship and ticket sales are what are able to pay for this show. People don't understand. For example, we rent parking lot space at
Hmm.
RIT, and we have 80 buses that take them back and forth and back. It's only 5 minutes from here. Well, our bill for that will probably be somewhere around $75,000 just for the
Oh,
buses in the parking lot.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
People don't understand that the air show is not it is not an inexpensive event, but it is. And again, if you look at $45 for a general admission ticket, you can come from 9:30 till 6 at night.
Right.
That's a lot of time. And we start flying at 10 o'clock
Well, the other thing you
in the
got to
morning.
take into consideration is exactly what you're saying. It's an experience. I mean, you could spend 45 or $60 for one ticket to go to go some theatrical performance at any one of these theaters in Rochester. Now you get a whole day. You get a whole day, and you know,
Yeah, yeah,
you see the precision of the military flyovers. You see the old airplanes that you might not have seen before. You see some acrobatics. You have some food. You spend some time with your kids. I mean, yeah, it's a whole different experience, and and put this in comparison to how much does a one football ticket cost for the Bills? I mean,
a lot,
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
more than
yeah, yeah.
$45.
So
A lot more than
45.
$45.
Yeah, yeah. In the context of that, it's not all that much money, really.
That's correct. That's
Yeah, for
absolutely
for
correct. But
every for
people,
every for
uh,
everything you get, you could.
and we
Oh.
and we have VIP tickets, ranging. It's all on our website. Actually, our VIP tickets for Saturday, I think we do 300. I think there's maybe 10 left, 10 or 15 left. So there's a range of tickets. We encourage everyone to come because I will
Mhm.
tell you that there's never been a time in this country that we need to show the colors of red, white, and blue more than we do today.
Oh, I agree. I agree. We have this tendency now of looking back at all of our faults and not taking as much pride we should in the accomplishments that we've had. There's no better country on the face of the earth, and you know what? There's nothing perfect. You know, Yogi Berra said it. Yogi Berra said it. He said, "If the world was perfect, it wouldn't be."
I when I was running security worldwide for Kodak, I went to 46 different countries, and I have always said, if you question anything in this country, go to any one of those 46.
Mhm.
You'll be glad when you come home.
You
We
got
have the
that
best
right.
country. You'll be glad.
Well, Ed, thanks for spending time with me. We are about ready to go to our next section, and I'm going to take you up on your offer, and I'm going to go right now and get my tickets for the show for Nita and I.
Okay, and you have my cell phone, so call me when you're here. And if you're gonna come to see the honor parade,
Hmm.
you will love it. You'll love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, and everybody, just hold on. We have another guest coming up.
Thanks for listening. You can find our previous shows at nononsenseroundtable.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.